So in this video I will do a review of the B751 Color ebook reader after using it for a while. Let's begin with the build quality, and I must say that the build quality of the B751 Color is excellent. It feels like real metal all over, even if that the backside is plastic. But the plastic is very good and have a very nice texture of it. So together with the metal frame around the complete ebook reader, then this plastic backside feels actually as metal too when you hold this device in your hand. So I really love the build quality. And also the buttons works really great. We will get to the buttons later on because there is a lot to say about the software for these physical buttons, but we come to that later on. And also the power button up at the top here is an excellent placement when you hold it in the left hand, but when you turn this upside down and hold it like this, then you can accidentally push this button with your hand, as you see here, and that is not the best placement. I would rather have it in the middle of the device, so it was not so easy to push that button. So that is also one thing to consider when using this. And I'm not much for using pen, styluses and so on, and taking notes with pens, so I have basically not used the pen that comes with this. I have only tried that it worked and so on, but nothing else more than that. So if my test was here in the notes app on this, and you see it worked, but nothing else actually. So I am not a fan of taking notes with a stylus. I will never use that pen again. I use this device for reading only, and mainly in two apps. And my first app to use this with is KOReader. It's my favorite all-around ebook reading app. I use it on all devices that can run KOReader. So on my Kobo devices, my Books Palma, and also this Bigme ebook reader. So all Android-based ebook readers can actually use KOReader. You can install it directly from KOReader's website. Don't install it from any other place. Just install it from the KOReader website. And then when using it, you can have everything in sync between all your devices, your Kobo devices, your Books devices, your Bigme devices, and Android all-around ebook readers. Everything in sync between your devices, reading progress and everything. So I really love using KOReader that way. The other app I always use on the Bigme is Storytel. I have a Storytel account, so I can read and listen to different books from my Storytel account. And everything in sync once again between the Onyx Books Palma and this Bigme device. You can't use a Storytel account on Kobo devices or Kindle devices. So only ebook readers you can use Storytel is Storytel's own very bad ebook reader. I have that, and I have shown you that device in different videos, and also on Android-based ebook readers. So the two only apps I use mainly on this Bigme ebook reader is the Storytel app and the KOReader app. But you can also run Kindle app totally flawlessly on the Bigme. It works so good. So mainly you can use this with your Storytel account if you want. And for example, open a book that you read like this, and turn pages like this very easily. It works really great. And you can also use the buttons here. if you do the setting in the Kindle app to use volume buttons, then you can use this to turn pages. Very good. In the Kindle app, works awesome, and also everything in sync with all your Kindle devices. You can run everything in sync with the Bigme. You can use with Onyx Books devices, your phone, your iPad, your Kindle ebook readers, everything in sync if you have the Kindle app installed on this. And I must say that it works really good. If you are a Kindle user, then the Bigme is perfect for you, because you can use these physical buttons for it, and you can do this. And here you see a flaw on this Bigme. I have real problems with automatic rotation when using this. It doesn't work in many apps at all. You see, it's very, very bad for automated rotation, as you see. Very, very bad for that. Sadly so. Sometimes you need to click on it to feel that you turned the device in different apps, like this, as you see here now. It feels a bit that you have turned this, but still not good, as you see. Doesn't work so good. And that is the biggest flaw with the Bigme. I don't like that. You often need to do manual rotation and so on, even if it should be automatically turned for you. So I don't like that. And actually that is the same with the Storytel app and also the KOReader app. So if I do this, if I have it in full screen mode like this, then sometimes it doesn't rotate, as you see now. Now it feels that I have rotated, but in that direction, as you see there. So that doesn't work so good. But if I click on it, it usually turns to the right side, like so. So very bad rotation on the Bigme, unfortunately. And also that got even worse with a firmware update that Bigme released recently. Then this got worse. And the same thing actually with the page turn buttons. Those are also very buggy in some apps, not all apps. Kindle app works great, and Bigme's own ebook reader app works great, but in, for example, Storytel and KOReader, it doesn't work so good, because sometimes when I click here, it goes forward, and sometimes it goes backward. So this is really, really terrible experience, because sometimes it has it on the other round, and sometimes when you're reading, when pushing the buttons, it turns for a while at the right forward, for example, and then suddenly it changes. So when you click the same button, it goes back, rewind the book for you. So that is a very terrible experience when it comes to the buttons. So I usually stop using the buttons on this device and use normal touch instead to turn pages. That's the only way for me actually to get around these bugs with the buttons. But if we go to KOReader, for example, my favorite app, we can open a book like this, and you see all the benefits with KOReader. You have all the statistics you want at the bottom. You can customize this exactly how you want, and you can have very small margins, as you see. You can also set that as small or as big as you want. You can add customized fonts. You can do a lot of different stuff. You can have everything you want really customized when using KOReader. So I really love that. And the best thing with using Android devices that has Wi-Fi turned on, when you have it always on, for example, you can do a progress sync totally automatically, as you see here, automatically keep documents in sync. So when I stop reading this book and turn this device down, I can continue reading it on another device running KOReader, because it's automatically sync the progress. So I can stop using this and turn reading on this and have everything in sync using KOReader. So that is also a awesome plus using the Bigme, that it runs KOReader quite well, but not with the automated rotation and so on in KOReader. That doesn't work either. And also the physical buttons, the same thing there, the same bug as in other apps. Sometimes it changes the direction. Even if you hold it like this and have it, you change the direction. So the Bigme has some serious problems, bugs with the physical buttons and the automated rotation. As you see, doesn't rotate as fast here either. So that is a huge problem with this device. Now we come to another thing that I really think they need to do better in another device is this. You actually need to have the brightness and the night light always on this device, because the display is too dark without. So if I turn this all down, it's so dark to read on this inside. When you have normal daylight in your home, this is too dark to read on, sadly. So if I go back to KOReader again, start reading this book, we should have been here. But as you see here, we have everything turned down. This is so dark. Even the book's Palma display is brighter when it's turned off, as you see. So this display is very dark gray as a background, and that is because it has a color e-ink layer above, so it gets colors. And that is also one thing I never use, the color for this device. So having a color ebook reader is not my thing. I don't need color on my ebook readers. I only read books. So I need to have as crisp display as possible. So I think having color on this is not necessary for me. Maybe for a manga reader or something, then you need color sometimes. But the only thing I use color for is to see the cover of the book. Then it's nice to have the color, as you see. And also when I am in other apps, for example in Google News, for example, I'm not using other apps as often, but sometimes I can read my Google News. If I have the feel for it or something, then I can do that. And then I must say that the Bigme is very fast, really fast for web browsing and doing other stuff on the device. Then I think this is an excellent device if you have the need for other kinds of app than only reading ebooks. So then I can actually recommend this Bigme, because it's so fast when doing this. So, but the display, as I said, is very dark. You can raise it by having the finger at the side. It could be hard to do sometimes, as you see. So sometimes it's better to do like this. You have it raised and have some color to it, like so. This is what I need to have almost all the time on this, to have it possible to read inside. So that is also one thing that makes the battery life really terrible on the Bigme, because you need to have brightness on all the time, then the battery life gets a lot worse. That is not a problem for me, because I don't see the point in having an ebook reader for weeks on the same charge, because I can charge this every night if I want. I don't have a problem with that. But this device I need to charge about every fourth day or so because of the battery life. So about 3 to 4 days I need to recharge it again, and I think that's great, because then this device will last for at least 4 or 5 years before the battery life gets worse. So I think for me, having this device always at home and never with me, then the battery life doesn't matter for me, because it's still more than enough for at least 3 days before you need to recharge it. Also, one thing that's great with this, in the e-ink settings, you have these different settings. So if I do normal, for example, then I can have, let's do that. I don't want to do that in the Kindle app. So we go back to the home screen here, and then we go in here and do the e-ink center. Now you see I have normal on, and then you can have auto clean on, and that's really good because that refreshes your display, so you don't see any artifacts that you get from the e-ink technology. So if you have auto clean on and have normal on, then you have auto clean on automatically, and that works great. Anti-shake though I have never used, because that is only if you want, for example, see YouTube videos, but I will never do that on this device, never. So then you can have anti-shake on to have a better display for video watching. But auto clean is very, very good when you use it in normal mode, for example, for Google News or browsing the web and so on. Then this setting is excellent, normal and auto clean. Then this device is more than enough fast, so you can use it very fast for those apps. The only time I use HD is when reading ebooks. So for example, in KOReader, Storytel, Kindle and so on, then I use HD, because then the text gets much crispier and much better for reading. HD 256 I don't use, but I think that's more for manga and something, because you get crispier colors. But I don't use colors, as I said, so then I use HD when reading. That is a great thing, auto clean in normal mode. A huge plus on the Bigme. So all in all, I think I have gone through all the stuff with this now. I use it only for reading ebooks, so color is not something I need, and I don't use the stylus, so that is not everything for me either. I don't use styluses whatsoever. But for reading books, I can recommend this, even if the display is a bit darker. But if you can stand having a bit worse battery life, and that lasts also only 3 to 4 days instead of weeks, then this device is excellent for reading ebooks. And if you use touch instead of physical buttons, and have maybe manual rotation on instead of automatic rotation. But maybe Bigme will release some bug fixes for the buttons and auto rotation. We can hope so, at least. Okay, so I think I will summarize this with saying that I will use this mainly for KOReader and Storytel. And when using Storytel, for example, I can have them in sync on all my devices that can run Storytel. So for example, I have this Onyx Books Palma with me when I go out, and have this inside when at home, for example. Those two scenarios is for me and have everything in sync with my KOReader and my Storytel. So, okay, bye.